pretty comprehensive win, both sides of the ball, but I wondered what stood out the most to you about the way you guys played.
Our attention to detail, our game plan defensively. We were locked in for 48 minutes. We followed all the keys that our game plan had entail, and we executed that.
JJ told us a couple parts of that and some of the similarities from the game plan against the Knicks, but like with the whiting and kind of fronting Jokic and just everybody flying around, how were you guys able to execute that defensively?
By trusting. We had to trust each other, and then if things ever broke down, we had to cover for one another, and I thought we did that tonight.
Did that for Luka? Did that look more like Luka tonight? And again, as you said, it's going to keep taking some time. But were there things that stood out?
Yeah, this is I think it was fourth game back. But yeah, that's the Luka that we all accustomed and have been watching over the last 7 years. Especially you get that left side of the floor step back going. Pretty damn dangerous, and big time game from tonight.
There's a lot to take out of the night, but to focus on the game plan element of it and your guys' execution of it, I guess what does that say about the growth in terms of trust in JJ and this group's ability to stay on something so detail-oriented against a team that puts a lot of stress on a game plan?
Well, we have to. In order for us to be successful, in order for us to win, ultimately, long term, we have to trust our game plan. We have to trust and be so dialed in on attention to detail. We have the personnel that we can really lock in on a game plan and really lock in and then be super strategic about how we want to execute offensively and defensively, and that was great to see tonight.
Luka found you streaking up the court in stride for an easy score in the first half, and it's not the first time this happened in the short amount of time you guys have been playing with one another. Is that instinctual? Are you guys giving each other a look? How do you explain that chemistry already?
I'm a natural born wide receiver, and he's a natural born quarterback, so it fits perfectly. I've been running the floor and running lanes pretty much my whole life, and he's been throwing great passes pretty much his whole life. So it's not hard to get a rhythm when it comes to that. It's just all about eye contact and him being the great quarterback like he is, and me being the recipient of it. So.
Kobe Yoban,
LeBron, JJ said that this morning he talked to Luka and he told him he wanted him to have a blackout episode.
Yeah.
Kind of just yell to himself and just sort of have that passion and that fire that he typically plays with. Felt like he picked up a tech right before halftime and felt like he played more like that. Did you see that out there tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Super dialed in. He was very just locked in on what he wanted to do out here on the floor tonight. Once he, start hitting those step-back threes, he get the yelling and barking, either at the fans or at us or at himself, and, he had every right to, I don't think he said too much to get the tee. They're kind of picking on us right now with the short leash on technicals, but he got hit in the head before the half, besides that, he was just dialed in on what he wanted to do and how he wanted to execute his game plan individually.
You guys had lost 8 straight here, and a lot of those games looked pretty similar where maybe you had 24 really good minutes. In the third quarter tonight, they came out, I think, and scored 7 or 8 straight to start the quarter and cut it to 1.
Yep.
How did you guys withstand that? What did you like best about that stretch?
We kept our composure, and then we hit some shots. I think Rui hit back-to-back threes. I think,
he hit one, AR.
He hit one, AR hit one, and then Luka hit one to bump the lead back up. I believe to 11. They called a timeout. So, but more importantly, we got stops. When they made that run to cut it to 1, we scored. We got to stop. We scored again. We got to stop. So we was able to bump it back up. So, we've been in a lot of games this year when we've been able to hold our composure. Throughout adverse times on the road and at home. So. I think that worked to our advantage tonight. Appreciate it.
Over the Nuggets, they improved to 34-21 on the season, 13 games above 500. Send it back out to Denver. Let's hear from JJ Redick. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
JJ, a lot of things. You have to imagine what stands out the most to you about tonight.
I thought our guys' conviction to execute a game plan and stick with that game plan was excellent. I told the group this, there are certain moments throughout the season that, you just get up for. And, I pretty much haven't slept since we walked off the court in Portland. And, I just spent a lot of time on this game. Our staff spent a lot of time on this game. I envision our guys playing hard. They played harder than I could have envisioned. They battled tonight. And those are the two things that stood out.
You had mentioned before the game you wanted to see Luka enter a certain mode. I can't remember exactly what your words were.
Blackout episode.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that.
He got one at the end of the first half when he hit the three right in front of our bench, 63-52. He started screaming.
Okay.
I don't know who he was screaming at, but he started screaming. It was great.
He looked kind of like Luka, right? But
Yeah.
Can you just describe what you saw from him?
No, he was great. He controlled the game when he had the ball in his hands, made some great decisions. I thought the way he handled the shock with Jokic up in pick and roll early, getting us good looks, getting Jackson 2 layups. They had to go to other options. And then on the other end, it was, a top-notch defensive game from him. And again, that was all our guys. They battled and they competed and they executed at a really high level.
Big part of the game plan was having Rui physically meet Jokic and deny. I think 7 shot attempts, for him.
Yeah.
Is the tie for a season low this year. How good was Rui in that job tonight? And how good team-wise were you with really just making it difficult for them to even get Nicole the ball?
Yeah, I mean, again, he leads the NBA in touches. He's going to touch the ball, and we tried to limit his touches as much as possible. Thought Rui was outstanding. He was a warrior tonight, a warrior, and all the guys that had primary turns on him. LeBron at one point, Vando for sure, setting the tone with his physicality. Doe as well, and then anytime a small got switched on again, we just stuck with what we were trying to do, and had to live with some things, but that's what we were willing to live with.
And then to the second question, in terms of, obviously Luka dealt with a pretty big shock in his world when he played. So you guys spoke, but how important do you think it'll be for him to have played a game like this now in a Lakers uniform as he moves forward with the organization?
Yeah, I think, again, the sort of return to normalcy and in some ways a new normal that we're trying to create for him, there are steps to all of that for it to become his new normal. And you need, in some ways, like, what about Bob? You need baby steps. And, tonight was a baby step.
There's no way you've seen What About Bob.
My staff hasn't even seen What About Bob.
I've never even heard of that.
Bill Murray, it's a Bill Murray movie. Yeah, it's an excellent movie. Richard Dreyfuss, Baby Steps to the Elevator.
Các bạn vừa xem xong video phân tích của chúng tôi. Sau đây sẽ là video hướng dẫn cách làm một chú ong hình trái tim của chúng tôi. Bây giờ các bạn cùng tôi thực hiện cách làm nhé. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ hướng dẫn cho các bạn cách để có thể làm một cái chú ong có cái thân màu vàng kết hợp với màu đen. Và cái chú ong này của mình thì nó sẽ có cái phần cánh màu xanh dương nhé các bạn. Như vậy màu xanh lá cây. Như vậy là chúng ta sẽ cần chuẩn bị này. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ có màu đen, đúng không? Màu đen và màu vàng. Hai cái màu chủ đạo để mình sẽ làm cái chú ong này, đen và vàng. Tiếp theo đây thì màu xanh để làm cái phần cánh này, và cái phần màu hồng này thì mình sẽ sử dụng để mình sẽ trang trí ở bên trên cái phần mặt của cái chú ong nhé. Và chúng ta sẽ có thêm màu trắng nhé các bạn. Cái phần màu trắng thì các bạn chỉ cần sử dụng ít thôi để mình làm cái phần mắt của cái chú ong nhé các bạn. Bây giờ thì mình có thêm cái bút bi mực đen này, mình có thêm bút chì này, và cuối cùng là mình sẽ sử dụng thêm một chiếc kéo này, và mình